Amanda! Free Palestine! Comrades, I'm not going to take as much time as Comrade Ronnie Castles. I think we are all in concurrence with all that he said. But I think, comrades, it is also important for me also to impress you about the gravity of the situation, because we don't want you to sleep. It is absolutely unacceptable that in this day and age, having again and again said never and never again do we allow a genocide to happen in our own time. There was a carnage of World War I and II. We said never and never again. There was a carnage of Holocaust in Germany. There was a carnage of genocide in Rwanda. We said never and never again. Today, there is a genocide in Palestine, and many of us want to go on as if it's business as usual. That, comrade, is unacceptable. You just have to understand what is actually happening there. And I think the main speaker will be able to outline in details. But suffice to say, on the last count, Israeli regime had dropped in an aerial bombardment over 30,000 tons of bombs, over only 141 square miles of an area that is Gaza Strip, that is densely populated. To put that into perspective, comrades, that is more than 2 nuclear bombs on the square miles of an area. And the result has been nothing short of an apocalypse that is catastrophic images that we have seen of children, of women, of civilians being indiscriminately targeted in the indiscriminate destruction both of property and, most importantly, of lives of children and women in their homes. Over 300,000 homes have been bombed, people in hospital, in mosques, in clinics, in churches, everywhere there is no place of refuge. Over 200,000 people have been forced from their homes in a long march that many have described as a march of death and fear to the south of Gaza. That, comrades, is a situation. And that is in a context where Israel is actually saying they are very far away from their strategic targets and objectives in the genocidal and murderous campaign. Now, some have argued those objectives are not achievable. And the only way that they can, if they could, destroy Hamas is basically massacring and ethnically cleansing of the whole of Palestine. Because the reality is, the armed resistance of Palestinians is the Palestinians themselves. Because the only way that they can exist in a context of a genocidal settler colonialism is to resist. And to resist even by means of arms. Now, when Israel, with the cheering and the support of United States and the whole of Western imperialism, say to us they want to destroy Hamas, many are saying, well, I don't agree with Hamas and so on, and therefore, well, if only they leave the civilians. The reality is that objective itself, at this point in time, is nothing short of Holocaust in Palestine. We've got to call it for what it is. Now, what can we do? I think that is a question that Comrade Ronnie posed. For me, it is said, of course, and I think I must say as well, that we do think the decision of South Africa to withdraw its diplomatic mission, or rather to recall it for briefing from Tel Aviv, is a step in the right direction. But comrades, pardon me here, I absolutely refuse to praise a bird for flying. Absolutely. 29 years into a government that was elevated by a struggle against apartheid. We have diplomatic ties with Israel. We still have an Israeli ambassador, even in the context that not myself, but South African government itself has described as genocide. What more should a democratic black majority government coming out of the struggle against apartheid need to say that this is a government that must sever every tie that we have? But not only that, South African government in recent years, it has been deepening the economic ties with Zionism and Israeli apartheid state of Netanyahu and the far-right parties that govern the state. And we have seen it. They have allowed a takeover of Clover by Milko, a company that operates in the illegal Jewish settlement. That, I say, is not only a betrayal, it's a criminal betrayal in this situation, comrades. And I must say to you, this, unfortunately, is a logic of government that was brought to power by the mass movement in this country that has acceded to the system of capitalism and tied itself to work imperialism. And the very logic by which they are betraying the people of Palestine is a logic that drove them to betrayal of the black working class, as we have seen in Marikana and many other places, where they've defended the corporate profits over the lives and the struggles and demands of the working class in this country. Therefore, comrades, I'm saying the only force that is going to bring justice, genuine, consistent, and principled solidarity with the people of Palestine is the working class, its organizations, its movement, and the progressive people of this country. We cannot sit in our homes and hope that this government, because it says all the right things, is going to do the right things. 29 years is a long years of broken promises, betrayals, and of course, speeches, and walking right whilst talking left. We need to mobilize. That's the reason as Giwusa, we have called on the labor movement to call for a general strike for Palestine. That decision has been adopted by the Campaigns Committee of South African Federation of Trade Unions, and they have put a Section 77 notice to NETLAC that is going to protect every worker who decides to join our demonstration on that particular day. Comrades, we are saying on that day, which we are going to announce in coming 2-3 days at most, we want each and every one of you, and not to leave behind any single member of your family, to come out on the streets and to register that we people who have lived through apartheid and the struggle against apartheid in living memory, what we think about apartheid Israel and its genocidal campaign in Gaza and in Palestine as a whole. And I think it is on that note that we want to show that what happened in Cape Town was merely a dress rehearsal. We are going to show them what we are capable of, what we are thinking, because media has been saying South Africa is divided on this question. What they are forgetting to mention, that those parties and every single one of so-called civil society organizations that support them, that support Israel, are the same parties that stood for apartheid, that supported apartheid, that supported apartheid Israel, even the so-called South African, is it Board of Jewish Deputies or what? What do they call them? Jewish Board of Deputies. I don't know who elected them. These are people who honored, by the way, the man who prosecuted Nelson Mandela. These are people who, by the way, supported Israel as it was arming South Africa to develop a nuclear bomb. Who do you think South African nuclear bomb was aimed for? It was aimed for you in your struggle to liberate yourself. Now, they are going to blackmail you about anti-Semitism and all of that. But comrades, do not doubt yourself. We are on the right side of history. And on this side, we stand with the best and the most progressive thought of the Jewish people. And I think the presence here of Comrade Ronnie is a testament to that. And I think on that note, as I conclude, we are going to have to mobilize. And we are saying that on the day of action, we are going to announce in 2 to 3 days at most. We want to be out in our hundreds of thousands, because it cannot be right that the people who, when the Palestinians are suffering, when the Palestinians are dying, the only source of hope and inspiration is their struggle. All our demonstrations at most have been in their hundreds and few thousands. We must say, we people who suffered apartheid, who fought apartheid, are with them, and as we have liberated ourselves, for as long as you are alive, Palestine is alive, their struggle is alive until Palestine is free. Amanda!